disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, a podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's up, bro?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, you've got Raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesdays is CTE with Chris Los and Travis. Wednesdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene, Mike, Joe, and Angel. And on Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can just check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Fellas, it's showtime. What's going on?
You know what? Not much. Just chilled out week. Enjoying some preseason football, even though it doesn't mean that much, and getting ready for fantasy football.
Okay, how many leagues you in, Joe?
Too many.
Really? So wait a minute.
I think I'm at 8 right now. I might have more.
Damn.
We'll see.
You in 8 leagues?
There's different kind of leagues, man. So 2 of them are dynasty leagues. So those run like all year. It's like running a franchise. So
Okay.
I got to keep up on that. And then the rest are your normal redraft, which is just a whole, a new draft. And then, I got a keeper league, so you can keep a couple of your players from last year. And then I do a best ball and a draft league where the auction leagues are the funnest ones. You got to auction, you got a certain amount of money, not real money, but like player money.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to draft your team by bidding for the player you want. So if I say like the first off the board is going to be Jonathan Taylor, I got to put, okay, I'm going to use 50 of my 200. And if somebody bets, does 51 and the auction 1, 2, 3, I don't get that player.
Okay.
That's the funnest because those get crazy. You see like what people really want out of those.
I haven't done a fantasy football league in a while. The last time I did one, Trav had put together a group, and I did that, man. And one of the things I hate is when they adjust the points in the morning, because it was like
on Thursdays.
Yeah,
Thursdays.
It was like the second to last week, man. And I'm going up against Trav, and if I'm going against my brother, I want to win, right? So at the end of the night, I won. But I didn't win by that much, like maybe like 1 or 2 points I won by. It adjusted.
Those are the worst ones.
Yeah, because it adjusted. It adjusted, and he won. And I was pissed because it was something that happened in the game. I can't remember what happened, but it was something like a bad call or a bad penalty or something like that. And that cost me. So then Trav ended up winning and going into the final game. And he ends up winning. I believe he either he won or he lost. I can't remember what happened, what he did. But I know if I had went up against the person he would have went up against, I would have won. So I was double pissed.
I hate those because so I've had the stat correction work against me, and I've had it work for me. I've had it work for me where I won a semifinal game and won the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have lost that game, like technically I had lost originally before the stat correction, like I'd have been out. So it's like, dang. So I respect both sides of it because, like, when it works for you, you're like, yes. But when it works against you, you're like, God damn it.
How was your weekend, man?
You talking to me or Angel?
Yeah, you. Did you do anything?
Oh, yeah. Nah,
anything
you know what? It was a chill weekend. I saw my parents. I saw my brother. It's a long time since I've seen him, and it's been a couple months. So, and my sister was in town, so that was fun.
Whoa. You have a sister?
You didn't know I had a sister?
I didn't.
I thought we talked about this before. Okay. For the audience out there, I have a twin brother. So, yeah, same age. Yes, we're identical. We don't look so much alike anymore, but, we are identical twins.
I never thought y'all were identical. I always thought y'all were fraternal. I never knew y'all were identical. Okay.
I know, but yeah, we are identical twins.
Okay.
So, and then I have a half sister from my dad's first marriage. He got married when he was younger.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so she's her name is Laura. She lives in Florida. And then I got a niece and nephew from her. So
Okay. All right. Bugs, what's going on? How you
Nothing.
doing, man? Oh my gosh, man. What is going on? You guys cannot see this man's waves. He got the waves popping tonight. Look at his head, Joe. It looked like a cat.
seen it.
It looked
Listen,
like a
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but that's okay.
It looked like a cat came up and just licked his whole head. What did you pour a box of Dark and Lovely on your head, man?
All I
Goodness.
do, bro.
Man, what is happening? You must have had a good weekend. What's going on, Angel?
Nah, I'm chill, man. My weekend was chill. Was in Atlantic City, and then was competing out there, and then I started work today, so it's been chill.
You went back to work? The kids are back in school, or
No,
is it?
They come back.
The teachers
week.
report the week before.
Yeah.
Did you even have like time off? Because you did summer school also. Like, would you get like 3 weeks off? 2 weeks?
I mean, I got the last 2 weeks I got 3 weeks in June, 3 or 2 weeks in June, and then all of August. Well, all August until now. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So not bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Ain't nothing special.
Okay. Now, Angel, I'm not on. I did not read the thread. Y'all was going off all weekend, so I don't know how you did.
Oh, I ended up.
Don't bite my head off, man. Don't bite my head off.
No. I ended up coming. I ended up getting in the semifinals. I lost in the semifinals for open weight. Almost made it to stage, and then I didn't even fight on Saturday. I was injured, so I just was there just watching.
Okay.
This is the second week in a row where it was you and Bailey, right?
Third week in a row.
Third week, dang, dude. I mean, that's something though.
Yeah, no, for real. It's it's crazy, man. Because we fought prior to this year, we only fought like 3 times before that, and he won those times, but it wasn't even competitive. Like I couldn't even make it a fight. Then now we're like it's like I'm getting close, man. Like now I'm not even losing by that much, and then the fight is just I'm making them have to fight. So, but yeah, literally it's just we kind of laughed and joked about it this weekend. Like just 3 weekends in a row, we keep getting at each other. So it's crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. My weekend was kind of chill. Mel and I, we did go to the Dream Cruise. We went by there for a little while. Angel, the Dream Cruise. Are you familiar? Have any idea what the Dream Cruise is?
I think I've heard of it before, but what is it?
Basically, so people get classic cars or souped up cars, and we got a street here called Gratiot, and people go up and down Gratiot, just showing off their cars. Sometimes they pull over to the side and let people see. So it's almost like a moving car show almost, you know. So people just cruise up and down Gratiot. It goes from like downtown.
Wait.
I know
It's a Woodward Dream Cruise, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. You're right, because they got a Gratiot one. The Gratiot one is before. That was a couple weeks ago, and then this one is the Woodward. That's right. It goes from
only reason I know that is because I have to take Woodward home, but I took a different way. No, I took a different way. I saw the crowd.
You gotta stay away. You can't drive down Woodward. But it goes from downtown.
It's deadlocked. It's deadlocked.
Yeah. I took the side streets to get there, and I parked in front of somebody's house, and a couple of blocks away. And man, me and Melissa just kind of walked over to where we were, and we watched for a little while, maybe about a half hour. But it was raining Saturday. We saw the thunderstorms and everything. So we weren't about to stand out there and get wet, but people did stay out there. I'm kind of surprised that, because we left and we went, came back through later, and people were still out there. So they had a good time. We went and did some shopping and then went home, chilled out, So that's pretty much it for my weekend.
There was a big motorhome parked. I don't even know what you would call it. It was at the intersection of Woodward and Orchard Lake, which is right where I come. And it was there all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, so I know the Dream Cruise goes to Pontiac. Does it continue past anywhere? Does it go veer off anywhere?
Honestly, I don't know because I've never gone, and I only know this because I pass it on my way home.
You've never gone to the Dream Cruise ever?
No,
I'm
I've never made
surprised.
it out there.
I'm surprised Mike never drug you out there as a kid or nothing like that.
Nah, yeah, it wasn't.
That seems like something that he would like, right? That does seem like
I'm
something
sure Mike goes. I'm sure Mike goes. Yeah,
yeah.
like we used to cruise Gratiot when he had his Mustang,
Mhm.
but that was it wasn't for like a cruise.
Okay, all right. But yeah, my bad about earlier. Yeah, that was the Gratiot cruise. That was a few weeks ago, and then this is the Woodward cruise. This is the big one.
Yeah.
So okay. All right, let's get into it. We are talking Ip Man for the finale. Overall, number one, what did you think of the movie, Joe?
This was my least favorite one.
Least favorite? How come?
It
Just
was
because of the finale, or
nah. If I didn't have to compare it to the other three, it wasn't a bad movie. Like
Mhm.
it was watchable. It was good. It was just a lot of the same stuff.
Mhm.
The story was a little all over the place, and they didn't really give us anything new.
Mhm.
And then well, we'll get into it, but just certain things. There was 2 fight scenes that almost brought me like, oh yeah, like I thought it was gonna be, but then other than that, it's just everything else was just kind of just there.
Angel, what did you think of this movie?
Like kind of like what Joe said. I didn't like it as good as the other ones. I don't know, it just hit different. It just seemed like it wasn't. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because like how Joe said, like, we just saw the other 3, so we kind of had an expectation for this, and it didn't meet that expectation. But it just I don't know. It just didn't. It just didn't seem as good to me. Like,
Here's the thing. For a finale, I would have liked to see like him focusing on his son. Let's see his son coming up, or let's see Bruce Lee, or let's see them together, something like that. But they just kind of gave us little bits and pieces of that, but they never really focused on any of that. And then the stories they did kind of focus on, they kind of mushed like 3 different stories together.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I enjoyed the movie, and I think I know why I enjoyed it a little bit more than you guys. You guys both have seen this movie before, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have seen the Ip Man series multiple times, right?
More than one. I've watched a few of them more than once.
Yeah. So for me, this was my first time watching all 4 of the movies. And I think if I would have had that break in between them or watched them multiple times, I probably would feel the way that you guys do. But to me, it just seems like one continuous story. So it feels like it fits. Probably like someone who never saw. Going back to what you were talking about earlier, Angel, Star Wars. Like for somebody that never saw Star Wars before, if they watch episodes 1 through 9, they might like it. But different generations like the generation, whatever Star Wars that was out when they were younger. So a lot of people, like me and Joe's age, a lot of them like the episodes 4, 5, and 6 better than the other ones. Some people like episodes 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. And then there's some people, the people that's around now, they like the newer ones, 7, 8, and 9. So I think it's a situation like that. To me, I don't dislike this movie at all. I was a little disappointed at the whole series, though. After I watched it, I watched the documentary about him. I watched the one that Jeff sent us, and honestly, like none of this stuff is true. That pretty much, kind of disappointed me because I enjoy the stories, but this stuff did not happen pretty much at all. I watched the documentary last night. I watched the documentary, and then I turned around and watched a YouTube video saying what was true and what was false based upon the series. And the stuff that was true was stuff that's common sense. Like we know that he opened up a school in Hong Kong. You don't have to tell me that's true. I know that was true.
Yeah.
So it was stuff like that, and the stuff that was false, like him fighting a boxer and some of the other fights at the end. Like he never fought the general. That never happened. That whole story pretty much never happened. He had money, but he didn't have money the way they showed him have money in the movies. Like in the movie, it seemed like he might have come from wealth. Well, in real life, he was a policeman. So yeah, he was a policeman. He was a cop.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So after I saw that, I was kind of let down by the whole series. I was like, well, why didn't they just make this up? Like this could have been a fictional character, but I know they wanted to use the Bruce Lee tie-in as a way to sell the movie.
But you know what? Him as a policeman, I think it would have been good for the movie.
I think so too.
I like that because his sense of wanting justice for everything and using his martial arts to get justice for everything makes a lot of sense as a police officer.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to know how his sons. Well, number one, he had two sons, Ip Ching and Ip Chung, but he also had two daughters.
Yeah.
And they're not even talked about at all in the movie. And then he also had another son from his mistress.
Woman.
Yeah. That wasn't talked about in this movie at all.
Oh, they probably were told they can't make these movies if they talk about the mistress.
Well, his sons, I know as far as the boys were alive, and the boys, they were hands-on a little bit for this movie, these movies. The son from the first movie, he is like 98 now. He's 98 years old. The other son, the son that's in this movie, he died 2 years ago. He died right before COVID. He died in January 2020. I guess that was Ip Ching, right? That was Ip Ching, the one that was in this movie. Yeah, that's the one. He never came to San Francisco like they show us in this movie. He never came to the U.S. So it's stuff like that. It's like, man, why? Like, why did you have to create this story? Like, how come we couldn't have gotten the true story of what happened with this guy? So I guess we won't get it unless you look at documentaries.
I think the first one, they tried their best to stay as factual but they had to add their own movie magic. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it became very popular. And so I think they just went with the popularity and did their own thing with it.
Yeah, I guess so, but it kind of messes up our timeline a little bit, right? Because
yes, it does.
Because at the end of the last movie, it said 1960, his wife passes away, right? This movie takes place 4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we watched the last movie, the kid looked young. He looked like he was like 7 or 8. And in this movie, he looked like he was about 17 or 18 years old.
I know, right? And his fighting didn't get any better.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, based upon the movie, Ip Man hadn't taught him martial arts. I wish I would explain why. Because he was saying that he wanted to learn. He said it in the movie later on that he wants to learn martial arts. So I wonder why he didn't teach him. Like, you have a school. Like, why aren't you teaching your son?
It's a good question.
Eddie, you got anything to add, Angel?
No, that was spot on, man.
Okay. All right, cool. So y'all ready to get started? So 4 years later, Ip Man, we see him. We find out that he has throat cancer, according to the movie. Also, in the documentary I watched, I think he had some type of brain cancer. Also, you know,
all them shots to the head.
Well, in the movie that happened, I don't know about it in real life as far as all of his street fighting and everything. Now, a man, we see a guy come to the school, and actually, no, let me go back a little bit, because we see they're going back to 1964 and they're talking about this tournament. And we see Ip Man go to the tournament and Bruce Lee is there. doing a demonstration, and it's the demonstration that's on YouTube that you've seen a few times. So we know that's what it was. He had on all of the safety gear, and at one point in time he takes off the headgear and he kind of acknowledges that Ip Man is in the crowd. But like I said, that never really happened in real life. It was all false.
Yeah,
I don't know why you would fucking lie about that shit. Like, there's fucking video proof about that. Like, of all the things you could lie about, you pick that. Like,
Right.
That is bullshit. Because then there's still people around from that like demonstration. So like,
Exactly.
why would you pick
but
a one thing?
they're trying to link him and Bruce Lee together. So part of the storytelling in this was linking him and Bruce Lee together.
Bro, listen, at the end of the day, his only connection was those pictures, and like he trained with him for like a year, maybe 2. Like, it's not like he was like, it's not like he taught Bruce Lee everything he knows.
Oh,
And you know what else is crazy? Because the one of the only fight scenes other than the demonstration you see Bruce Lee in outside on the street fight, he fights nothing. His fighting was nothing like Ip Man. So we wouldn't even have known that it was his student.
The other thing I was gonna say was like, you know, with all the stuff that with what Jeet Kune Do is based off of, the people that taught him wrestling can say, "Well, I'm Bruce Lee's instructor." The person that taught him Western boxing, I'm Bruce Lee's instructor. Like, he learned so many different martial arts. Like what is your real claim to saying I'm his instructor? So many other people can say the same shit. Gene LaBelle, like, worked with him on judo. He could say that's his instructor. I don't know, man. I was just pissed when I saw that. Like, that took me out of the movie right away.
But did he refer to all of them as master, or did he only refer to Ip Man, or did he even call Ip Man master?
Did he even call Ip Man master?
Yeah, I don't know, because the reason, one of the documentaries I was looking at last night, it said that Ip Man really didn't train Bruce Lee. He kind of trained him through another one of Ip Man's students, was Bruce Lee's actual instructor. And honestly, Bruce Lee went to Ip Man because he was like kind of like in a gang in Hong Kong, and he wanted to improve. He was getting teased by a bully who was in a gang. So he knew that this guy went to Ip Man school. So that's why Bruce Lee went to Ip Man school. Now, all this other shit was just ridiculous. It had nothing to do with nothing. He did not come as a little kid and start getting trained by Ip Man. None of that happened in any of these movies. Not the Ip Man movies or the Bruce Lee movies that we did. None of that happened.
Again, like I said, man, like I don't know, man. I like when I saw that first scene, like that took me out of the movie right away, because I was like, why are you gonna lie about that? Like, of all the things you picked to lie about, like that's like the one thing that everyone posts is the fucking video footage of that whole demonstration. So why would you lie about that specifically? Right. So that was dumb.
Right. So we have a guy, Bruce Lee. According to the movie, Bruce Lee sends one of his students to invite Ip Man to see his demonstration. Now, this was pretty interesting. The guy is speaking English. He's a black guy. He's speaking English to these Chinese students, and they can't understand what he's saying. He's just there looking for Ip Man. He wants to invite him. He's happy, but these guys don't know him, and they want him out of the school. So they start fighting him, and he's fighting back. And then Ip Man eventually comes into the dojo and breaks up the fight. And then we see that Ip Man starts talking to him. So Ip Man understands English. Yeah. So he can speak to him, and then he talks to him and tells him, "Hey, my master is Bruce Lee. I've come to invite you. He wants you to come to see his demonstration." And Ip Man thanked him for coming, but he denied the invitation.
Yep.
Did you have a problem with that at all, Angel? Now, this is something that probably happened in real life. I can see this happening.
I can see it happening, but again, like I said, I wasn't. I can see that more happening than what happened in the beginning.
Yes.
Like that seemed way more believable for me.
Right. Anything, Joe?
How are you gonna have somebody show up, not speaking the language, and then get into a fight?
Do you think Bruce should have just showed up himself?
I don't even know, man. Like, to me, Why is everyone so jumpy about fighting in these days?
Well, yeah. Well,
That's my
like,
thing. Like
I've
everything has to
heard
be a fight.
stories. I heard stories about back in the day, like how things were back in the day, and yeah, fights used to break out, and people used to go to dojos and challenge the instructor and all of that. That's not happening now. That's not going to happen. Like that would be a bad thing that happens now.
Well, that's not what karate is promoted. Like the opposite of that.
Right.
I mean, it's supposed to be. This isn't. This whole idea of Cobra Kai, like, it's not a real thing.
No. Even though we still love the show, but that's not.
No,
real.
don't get me wrong. It makes for great TV.
Right.
But from a martial arts standpoint, like we're against that. We would probably try to get rid of those people.
Yep.
If they really existed and showed up at a tournament, like they're not going to be running things. We would put them out.
Showing up at a tournament is one thing, but trying to come over to a school and insult instructors and that's something totally different. I mean, you're liable to get the law involved in that,
Yeah, exactly.
So the next thing we see Ip Man, he ends up going to his son's school. His son is in a fight. He's older. Like I said, he's about 7. Looks like he's like 16, 17 years old. He might be a little bit younger than that, I guess, but that's not how this kid looks. The kid looks big. And he is in a fight. I guess somebody took his comic book and he wanted his comic book back, and that led to a fight, and he's beating up this other kid, or this kid's beating up on him. And then Ip Man comes to the school and they explain to him what happens, and Ip Man decides, this kid is so disrespectful too, man.
Yes.
He is really disrespectful. And
the school is expelling him because they're fed up with him.
Because he's had more than one fight.
Yeah.
So now, as he's talking to the doctor, Ip Man is talking to the doctor because his son is getting stitched up. He finds out that some students end up going away. But matter of fact, didn't the doctor go away? Is that what happened to the doctor?
He studied abroad and then he came back.
Yeah. So Ip Man finds out that that's what's going on with some of the kids who are a little active. They're going to send them to America. I would think, I would not think that that's going to turn things around. Coming here, I would think things might get a little worse for that kid if he had came here.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
In the movie.
So we saw a familiar face show up when Ip Man goes home. We see his buddy. Now in this movie, they're calling him Bob. In this movie,
not Fatso. They finally give him a name.
Yeah. So he's there, and they're more friendly toward each other now. They're like friends. They're like buddies now. Ip Man tells him, like, "Hey, I'm about to go away. I'm about to go to San Francisco for a little while. Can you check in on Ip Ching just to make sure he's okay?"
You know what? With you talking about him in the documentary being a police officer, maybe this was like his best friend.
Yeah.
Because he keeps showing up in all the movies, so there's got to be a reason.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that's what it seemed like anyway. That's what it seemed. That's what it seemed like anyway. So they really get into it, and Ip Man ends up slapping his son because his son was like, his son doesn't want to leave Hong Kong. He does not want to go to America, so he's totally against it. And they have a little shouting match. Ip Man slaps him, and then Fat Bob he ends up.
Fat Bob.
He ends up, pushing Ip Ching out of the way. Ip Man tells Fat Bob, "I'm gonna call every night at 10 o'clock. Just to check in on him. So can you be in?" Bob said, "I'll be around. I'll be here to make sure he talks to you." You guys got anything else to add?
No, that's a good friend to stick around and put up with that attitude from the kid and take care of your house.
Mm-hmm. Now, in order to go to this particular school that Ip Man wants his son to go to, he needs a letter of recommendation. So when he gets in San Francisco, we see another familiar face. I don't remember this guy's name. He was the guy from the newspaper that ran the newspaper. Do you guys remember his name, or maybe
Wasn't
the
that
producer?
technically his first student?
I thought this was the guy that was working at the newspaper that gave him the place to rent out.
Was it Lang Jen?
I don't think we gave him a name in the last movies.
No, he was. He had a name. I think it's Lang Jen. Lianggen.
Okay.
Looks like the same. Looks like the same guy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the same guy from the other movies. He shows up in the second movie, second and third movie. He's there. So, he takes him to Chinatown and introduces him to all of the masters that are in San Francisco that are instructors.
More grumpy masters that want to play politics.
Well, this is kind of what we saw in the other Bruce Lee movies, though. The people that were in San Francisco, the instructors, they were not okay with Bruce teaching martial arts to anyone that was not Chinese. They want to keep their secrets private,
Yeah.
So they asked Ip Man to talk to Bruce and to get him to stop teaching. But Ip Man doesn't really have a problem with that. Now, in one of our movies that we watched, didn't they say that Bruce's own instructor had a problem with him teaching people who weren't Chinese martial arts?
Yeah.
So it contradicts this movie here.
Always.
So we don't even know what's the truth when it comes to that. Was Ip Man really okay with Bruce teaching people who weren't Chinese or not? We don't know. Okay. But of course they want to make him seem like the good guy, so of course he's going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to step on Bruce's toes, so he's okay with it. But they tell him the main master. It's like sorry, I didn't get his name either. Here it is.
Zong.
Yep. Hua.
I lost it. Wan Zong Hua.
Yeah. He is the person that you get the letter of recommendation from. He is not going to do it because Ip Man's not going to do something for them. What you guys got anything about this scene here? You guys had anything to say?
You mean with the tea and the table and the breaking of the table?
Bro, I thought it was kind of cool. They were spinning that thing in the middle. Shit was dope as fuck.
You never seen that at a Chinese restaurant?
Hell no.
No, I didn't. I haven't either.
That shit was dope as hell.
There was a place by me that had those tables.
I thought it was just something from the movie.
No, that's like I don't know if it's a Chinese restaurant thing or if it's in most China homes, but yeah, I think some of the Chinese restaurants, like authentic Chinese restaurants, they use those tables to serve food.
Okay. Take over for a second for me, Joe.
So they have this test of strength, I guess you would call it, where Ip Man and Wanzong Hua, who is a Chinese Tai Chi master. I almost said Tai Bo. That would have been funny.
Tai Bo, yo.
Yeah, Billy Blanks pops out of nowhere. Yeah, so Tai Chi master, and they're basically kind of pushing the table back and forth to each other. And there's a glass piece on the table that spins. And when they are pushing it against each other, it shatters. For whatever reason. I mean, I guess, we're both strong. We break glass. But, I mean, it is what it is. Anyhow, so Ip Man leaves. He tries to do things on his own without the recommendation. And the next scene, is that the diner scene? I believe.
The next scene? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Ip Man, Bruce Lee, and one of Bruce Lee's students who is in the military. Oh, and is Bruce Lee's attorney.
Yeah.
So they're meeting together. He thinks maybe the attorney can help Ip Man. So the attorney and him are talking, and during this conversation, a group of men who I don't even know who they are, what they're doing. They're American karate, whatever, or taekwondo. They don't really say what they are, but they're all in martial arts gis and black belts, and they basically come in and start challenging everybody. And it's, to be quite honest, it's quite ridiculous because I thought they challenged the lawyer, but they ended up dealing with Bruce Lee. And then, so other than at the beginning where we had Bruce doing the demonstration, this is the only other fight scene we get with Bruce Lee. And it was ridiculous. That's the best I can say. I mean, it was typical Bruce Lee stuff, and they even managed to throw some nunchucks in there.
Oh, that was just, let's go back a little bit because I said something to Melissa about that. Number one, before we got to that part, we saw Juan Zua. What was his name again? Juan Zua. We saw him and his relationship with his daughter, and he is hard on his daughter, very, very hard. So we saw their relationship and we saw what was going on with them. So that is important because we're going to find out something later about that relationship. Also, we see the first time that Ip Man calls home, and we see how things are with him and Ip Ching. Ip Ching doesn't come to the phone at all to talk to him. Fat Bob tells him, like, "Hey, come talk to your dad," and he says no. I thought Fat Bob was going to lie and say, "Hey, he's in the bathroom," or he just stepped out. He said no, he doesn't want to answer the phone. He's not going to come talk. He doesn't want to talk.
Hey man, he's a simple man. What are you going to say?
All right, now, yep. So the street fight, this was ridiculous. The moment he's walking, he beats up the guy. Number one, these guys come in to a diner. It looks like it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night in their uniforms. What did they do? Follow them from the tournament and they came to the diner that they were all at?
I was trying to figure out the same thing, man. Like, I had no idea what was going on.
And then they fight, right?
Yeah.
And that was ridiculous. Then he beats up the three guys that had on the white gis, and there's another guy with a blue gi. The moment I saw him turn around and walk away, I said, okay, now this is ridiculous and it's fake because Bruce Lee is the person that made nunchucks popular. Well, Bruce Lee is not really that popular yet. So this guy should not know how to use these nunchucks. He should not have them. He should not even have the nunchucks. So that was ridiculous. If this was the 70s, I would have got it. It would have made sense. But seeing how it's 1964, Bruce Lee wasn't really popular yet, and we already learned that he made nunchucks popular. This guy shouldn't have had them and shouldn't have been using them. So,
not only that, but I mean, I don't know when Bruce actually learned the nunchucks because we learned in the Miyagi documentary about
that's
Master,
right.
Yeah, Master Demora teaching him nunchucks.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not even know.
Okay, hold on. So stop right there. Let's just stop real quick. Could you not say now that Fumio Demora is his instructor?
Yeah, you could.
Could you not make the same movie of Ip Man and just make it reverse and make him do karate and teach the same way?
Yeah,
probably.
That's why I'm saying, like, this is why I had such an issue with this movie. Because it's like, I thought about the whole nunchuck thing, and then I was like, oh, this is exactly what I talk about. Like, he has so many instructors from so many different styles. Like, I feel like this movie, I feel like the way they wrapped this movie up, I felt like you could have just took anybody and could have put the same approach with it. Like, it was just a vague plot that anyone could have fit. You could have just made up the stories as you went along.
And that's exactly what they did also. Yeah. Like, and some of the stuff that's going on in this movie, like, I don't understand why they had to add some of the special effects with the fighting. Like, there's no need. Like, Bruce Lee is not hanging in the air doing stuff or jumping off walls. That's not him. But that's what they have him doing in this alley scene.
Yep.
I didn't get it. It didn't make sense. The whole thing, even having Bruce Lee in this, having a fight scene, like, why? This is not about Bruce Lee. Why is he even having a fight scene in Ip Man's movie? And it's made up. To appease the people.
Because some people want to see that.
I guess so. So, like, we don't even know who these guys were. What was their purpose? They don't show back up later or anything.
Nope.
So,
No.
yeah, they're not the villains in the end. They're not even associated with the villains in the end. So this was just kind of thrown in. But hey, what do I know, man? This movie, this movie's budget was like $52 million, and they crushed it. They crushed it. This movie's they made at the box office. They made I lost it. I just had it and lost it. Hold on, give me 1 second. You should see it right there, Joe. It's right there at the bottom.
At the bottom?
I think it's like $259 million.
Is that domestic or international?
It doesn't say 239. Yeah, the budget was 52 million. They made 239 million, and I don't even remember seeing
the popularity of these movies.
Yeah, I don't even remember even seeing the commercial or a trailer or nothing.
No, this was straight to Netflix. This was like straight to DVD.
Oh, that's nothing but profit.
Because when the Ip Mans, the one with Mike Tyson and this one, they were, if I'm correct, they were straight to Netflix or straight to DVD. They weren't in movie theaters. There was no hype about them because that's what made them so successful when they started out.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's great because they hit a lick with that.
Not wrong.
The next scene. So now the next thing we see, I'm just gonna call this guy Juan. I'm just gonna say Master Juan. I'm just gonna say Master Juan. We see Master Juan's daughter. She's trying out for the cheerleading team, and she makes the team. She's gonna be the head cheerleader, and she made one of her competitors, who was also trying out for that same position. She made her upset. She said some ignorant things, and she's just jealous. This girl is jealous.
100%.
Yeah, so of course a fight has to happen, and Master Juan's daughter, she's pretty good herself. She looks like she's trained. Like we've seen her and her dad training together, but it looked like they were doing Tai Chi. So I didn't really know how well this girl could defend herself, but when this fight broke out, like she handled herself just fine.
Yeah, she definitely did. But I have a huge issue with this. Like, when do guys hold down girls, Karate Kid style, for another girl? Like, is that a thing?
Her name was Yana, or Yona. I honestly, man, nothing surprised me no more. I honestly can't believe something like this could have happened. I mean, I don't know. I don't mean in real life, like this movie is real.
Yeah,
I don't mean that. But I mean, let's be real. I mean, domestic violence is real. Like, we can't sit up here and say like men don't hit women. So
I know, but it makes no sense to me that some dumb girl got her feelings hurt over something, and it's like, here, let's hold this bitch down. And then these guys are getting their ass kicked.
Yeah, they were. And like they had to run her into a fence. They did all types of things,
And then they're cutting her hair. I mean, it's a mess.
Yeah,
it's just a mess.
But like I said, she was defending herself.
Yeah, and then when you end up getting cut because your own stupidity, you run home to mom and go, "Oh, this girl was picking on me. This girl was picking on you. It was 6-on-1."
Yep, and stuff like that happens. Happened back in the 60s. So I mean, I believe this, man. I mean, racism was at an all-time high in the 60s. So this definitely could have happened. I'm quite sure this has happened to all types of people. Now Ip Man shows up, and I was like, why did they have to put him in this movie, like at this scene? But I don't know, man. I guess they want him to be a superhero. So like, he was at the school because he was trying to get his son into the school. So he took a letter. But they said, who was the letter from? I can't remember. The letter was
the lawyer. The lawyer.
Yeah. So they didn't accept it. They said, okay, this is nice, but you need it from, I don't know, like the Chinese consulate or something like that. That's what we deal with. So you're gonna have to go back to them, and that's Master Juan. So Ip Man really did not really want to have to go back and talk to them again. So he was actually leaving when he sees this fight with these kids. Do you like the fact he really didn't beat them up? Like he kind of embarrassed them. He did little things to them. He blocked a lot of their techniques, but he really didn't hit them. Like he was pinching their nose, pulling their ear. I know he took one of the hockey sticks and spanked them with it, but other than that, he really didn't do too much anything. And
He's not gonna beat up a bunch of kids.
Yeah, he's not gonna beat up a bunch of kids, you know. And they pretty much ran away from him. They were scared, you know. And then that helped his relationship that with Yana, because she was appreciative of what he did, and he rode the bus with her to make sure that she got home okay. And then that's when he finds out who her dad is. He didn't look too happy when he found out who her father was, though.
I think he was just like, oh, whatever. But then the dad thought, oh, you think you helped my daughter, and now I'm supposed to show you favor? Like he thought he was trying to use it as like an end around.
Right.
But the daughter was the one bringing that on. He's just like, no, man, I'm just helping out your kid.
I'm surprised. She didn't say anything like that either. Like I don't know. I don't know who he is, or you know, we didn't know each other.
No, they didn't. But once she found out that he needed her dad's help, she was like, come on, Dad, help him out. She didn't know that they had already been talking.
Mm-hmm. What did you guys think of the fight between Master Wan and Ip Man? Because you know, Master Wan says to him, like, you don't have to use my daughter if you want something from me. Like, you know, let me see your skills. And they pretty much have a fight. What did you guys think about that? This fight that happens?
It was a decent fight.
Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah, but once again, they're doing some remarkable things in the fight. You know,
my same problem is the same that it's been with all these movies. Kung Fu versus Kung Fu is always like Ip Man's a little bit better, but they each kind of, it's almost a tie, right? But then Kung Fu versus everybody else, like it doesn't work, and it's so annoying because to me Ip Man bested him, but then you know later on when he's fighting the main bad guy,
the karate guy,
he gets his ass kicked, and wherefore then to me when Ip Man comes in, he should have had no problem, but you know what I'm saying, like he bests the Kung Fu guy. Then the Kung Fu guy fights the bad guy. These are all these movies go. And then the Kung Fu guy holds his own with the bad guy and then gets his ass kicked, which tells me Ip Man should be able to come in and spank him. But it never works out that way. No.
And they stopped fighting because an earthquake happened. So they end up stop fighting each other. And that's pretty much it. Now, in the fight with the kids, Ip Man is injured. I think somebody tried to
slammed like a gate.
Yeah, slam a gate, and he put his arm through the gate, and so he ends up getting bruised.
They were going to slam the girl. They were going to slam the girl's like face in the gate.
Right. So Ip Man is injured, and when he's fighting Master Wan knows this because he goes to kick him or something like that, or he sees the bruise on his arm, and he ends up. So then we know that he knows because Ip Man kind of protects his arm while he's fighting, and only fights with one arm, and then puts his arm behind his back. And Master Wan does the same thing, fights with one arm behind his back also. You know, so. And that was pretty much it for that scene between those two, as far as fighting goes. And then we see that one of Bruce Lee's students is actually in the Marines. Now this was just ridiculous. This didn't make any sense to me. There's a Marine sergeant, or I don't know, was he a sergeant? Was that his or was he a corporal or something? I can't remember. Whatever his rank was. Matter of fact, I think the student, he was a staff sergeant.
Yeah, he was a staff sergeant.
Yeah, he was a staff sergeant, and he brought in one of those wooden dummies for training. He thought that Kung Fu would be able to improve their fighting when it comes to being in close with someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he was a gunnery sergeant. His name, this is played by Scott Adkins. His name was Barton Geddes. He thought it was ridiculous, and honestly, come on now, anybody's going to think that. If you come in to a training and somebody comes in with a wooden dummy, I'm not going to take that seriously. I'm probably not taking it seriously now, and I have a karate school, and I'm not probably going to take it too seriously. If you just want to train to strengthen up your forearms, I guess, or if that's part of your style, I get it. I get it. But something like this, like I wouldn't go into an MMA school with this and say let's bring this in and train with this. I wouldn't think that was the thing to do.
And that's the thing. They had already had martial arts established for their training.
Mm-hmm. So
to come in and say, well, this martial arts is better, or we should add this to ours. Yeah, I think they took it as a slap in the face, especially because it came from the Chinese.
Right. What did you think, Angel? I see how you're looking.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man. Like, if someone, I know I would be the type of person. I'd be like, all right, you're doing all that on the wooden dummy. Let me just see this actually done in the fight. Like, if you could do this in the fight, in a real street fight, and successfully come out without being bruised up to the point that you don't know where you are, I'll do whatever you say. Because it's like how we said before, like, does kung fu like really work in a street fight, or does it only work against other kung fu people?
Well, we kind of get a glimpse of that because the sergeant, the gunner sergeant, Barton Geddes, he tells them, "Much like, all right, well, you're gonna fight the karate champion. If you beat him, then we'll let your dummy stay." And he spars with the karate guy, the karate champion, and he loses. He gets beat up. So he is, embarrassed at this point. I'm surprised he did not. Sometimes when that happens in movies, people run to their master and be like, "Oh, this is worthless. Like, why am I learning this stuff? This is pointless." That didn't happen. He stuck by Bruce Lee's teachings, and he didn't turn on that and start doing karate. These guys, as in the military, they feel like karate is better than kung fu. It's the best form of self-defense. They make them run laps because of what happened, and they end up burning the wooden dummy. This movie completely shifted at this point because we're thinking this movie is going one direction, and then it just goes in another direction for no reason.
Yep, that's just all over the place. Like I said.
Next thing you know, Ip Man is at home. He's smoking, even though we all know that he has throat cancer. He doesn't get. I guess he's like,
it's the one thing the doctor said: don't stop smoking.
Yeah,
it's like stuff like that makes me don't have like any sympathy for people that have it. Like when you know it and you keep doing it, like I don't know, man. Like I'm real big on like if there was like things that I could like lose important stuff that means a lot to me, I'm stopping it right then and there. Like you know what I mean, like I'm saying, like
say that, but smoking is something that so a lot of these people that are older and they've been smoking for 40 years. Well, you can't stop that. Mm-hmm. I had residents when I worked at the old folks home that were on oxygen, would pull the cannula from their nose, go outside, smoke a cigarette or two, come back in, put the damn oxygen on. It's like,
oh wow, really?
You have a problem.
I was about to say something else.
It's that serious. It's that serious.
I was about to say something wild, but I'm gonna get fired from HR.
It's crazy.
So we see Ip Man being sickly in this movie. In certain scenes, we see him. He's moving a little bit slower. And it's planting a seed in our head, right? It's like, okay, it's letting us know that Ip Man is his chapter might be coming to a close. Like this might be the end. That's what we're thinking, right? Now, like I said, this movie starts in 1964, right? I'm jumping off the movie for a second. At the end of this movie, Ip Man is dead. He dies at the end of this movie. I'm just going to tell you all now.
Motherfucker, why would you do that shit, bro?
It's a reason. It's a reason why I did that.
Yo, what kind of fucking review are you doing?
I know why I did it. I know why I did it. Go for it.
Everybody, Joe, as you're watching this movie, it's 1964. Watching this movie makes you believe that Ip Man is about to die any day now. Ip Man doesn't die for another 8 years in real life. Why did they do this? This was stupid. I did not understand that. I didn't get it. It made no sense. Ip Man pretty much dies a year before Bruce Lee. Ip Man dies in 72. Bruce Lee dies in 73.
It's a conspiracy.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Like they didn't need to make him sickly. They didn't need to make us feel sorry for him throughout this movie.
He took the same aspirin. I knew it. I knew that shit was. I knew it.
I did not understand why they did that. That pissed me off. Like I didn't know that until I saw the documentary. At the end, when I'm watching this movie, I thought, "Oh wow, yep, that was his last few days. That was it. He's done. He's out of here." No, he lasts another 8 years before he checks out. You know. So
this movie didn't care about no timeline. Okay.
Yeah, obviously it didn't.
They just had a story to tell, and they wanted to tell it the way they wanted to tell it.
Mm-hmm. Anything going for anything else? What's next?
I mean, for the most part,
Master Wan gets arrested. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before I get to Master Wan getting arrested, his daughter shows up at Ip Man's house, and she has the letter. She actually forged the letter for Ip Man. Ip Man does not accept it. He appreciates her for doing it. It was like, no, this is not right. He tears it up and throws it away. And then there's a big demonstration coming up with all of the masters and their students, similar to what we saw in what was that, the third movie?
They called it a carnival. They kept calling it a carnival.
So all of these martial artists are there doing their demonstrations. This reminds me of the scene with the boxer. That's what I was thinking of when the boxer got upset. The karate guy is there, and he does his thing, and he breaks a bunch of bricks, and he just surprises everyone.
That was stupid. The brick thing was stupid. You kung fu masters can't use your puny kung fu to break bricks, but watch me, no, shut up.
Yeah. Now, meanwhile, while this is going on, Master Wan gets arrested. Now, it was a made-up reason. It was because his daughter won the cheerleading competition. Because the guy who came to arrest him was her father.
Yep.
So they end up going to arrest him and saying that he was smuggling Chinese into America or something like that. They came up with some excuse.
Immigrants and illegal immigrants.
Yeah, so they end up arresting him. So he was not at the demonstration, and everyone were waiting for him. They were looking for him. Now, what, Joe? Do you remember what they wanted from him when they had him in custody?
They wanted the people who were not documented.
Okay, I thought it was something else that was going on that they were. I don't know. I guess I was daydreaming or something. I don't know.
No, that's all I remember. They said he wanted the people that were not documented, that he was quote unquote hiding, so they could take care of him. And then they wanted later, they wanted him to demonstrate his kung fu in front of the military.
Yeah. All of the masters eventually, the masters get upset with the karate guy at the demonstration, the carnival, and they ended up fighting him, and he ends up hurting them and beating them up.
Every time we see a new group of masters, they're not shit. Like, what makes them masters?
You're gonna have
they always just get beat up.
So you're not gonna be impressed if you meet a kung fu master in real life, huh, Joe?
I'm just saying, and according to this movie, like, you have a room full of masters who want nothing to do with Ip Man, yet Ip Man beats up everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But these masters, every time they go to show up, like, they give it their all, but they get their ass kicked. Like, what? How did you become a master?
Yeah, so Ip Man does beat this guy up. He knocks him out. He won. I don't even. There's not pretty much left to talk about when it comes to that. Anything else?
That fight brought me back into the movie. That was a good fight.
Master Juan and what's his name? Barrett? Was his name Baron? Barton Geddes. Yeah, they had a fight and he gets destroyed. Master Juan he got killed. At first, they was trying to make him look good.
He was holding his own, and then all of a sudden, he's just getting destroyed.
Yeah, I thought he was dead. Honestly, by the end of the fight, I thought that was it for him.
My thing was this: like I said, he was holding his own, and I guess what they show us is, except for when Ip Man does it, that's what kills me. So all the other Kung Fu masters, it's about speed, it's about timing, and it's about like hitting certain areas because they don't have a lot of power moves.
No. And
that's why they end up getting destroyed a lot of times because they're trying to take out your legs, they're trying to take out pressure points. Where for Ip Man does all that, he has really good blocking, but that machine gun punching he does, that Kung Fu needs to adapt more of that. Because that's where he gets everybody. Where he lacks in size, that's where he gets his power. He's not trying to chop you or, he's not trying to do. That's the problem with all these other Kung Fu guys. Like, they don't have a good power punch.
Right.
Or enough, like I said, a speed punch like that where they can take you out. And that's why they end up getting their ass kicked half the time. Because they're just trying to they're blocking everything, but then the other person could take all your hits and then hits you with the power punch.
So, do you think that Ip Man is taking it easy on these Chinese masters, Kung Fu masters, when he fights them because they always tie with him?
Yeah, because I think he respects. He's showing respect.
Yeah. All right. What do you think, Angel?
I don't know, man. I think personally, I think it's like one of those things like when we fight people that are the same style as us, it's more comfortable as opposed to fighting someone that is a different style. It's a little awkward. So
I agree with that for sure.
I feel like it could be one of those situations.
Okay. All right. So then we got one more fight scene. It's Ip Man against Barton Geddes. He ends up going to fight him because of what he did to Master Juan. Pretty much that's the reason. And then they have a good fight. And like you said, man, Ip Man is getting beat up. And then eventually he can turn it around and he wins.
Yeah, he pulls the Rocky on him.
This reminded me of the fight with the boxer. This whole situation, because the same thing happened. I can't remember that master's name, but he ended up fighting the boxer first, gets killed, and then Ip Man shows up and beats him. So this was real similar to that to me. Now Barton also he does like Master Juan. He notices that Ip Man is injured. We see him. He sees his hand. He knows he's injured. He goes after it a little bit, but Ip Man still is able to defend himself. And he wins. And that's pretty much it. Even though he got slammed, kicked, almost stomped. Did you notice the move that he beat him with? It was pretty much that same punch thing that he did with his fingers. No, not that one, but it was to the throat that he did. That he did with the general in the first movie.
But that's what I'm talking about with the precision stuff. Because you take a shot to Adam's apple like that, you're going to take it until you cover.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to hit someone really hard. He just giving you a little.
You don't know how fucking big Sky Atkins is? Crazy.
It took me a minute to figure out it was Scott Atkins, and I was like, "Oh, I know. Why do I recognize this dude?"
You know what?
Like, okay.
I was looking at him like, "Don't tell me this is that same guy." And then it hit me. So yeah, I knew exactly who it was. I said, "Okay." And then everybody seems to respect Ip Man at the end. Everyone in the military, they give him a standing ovation. And then he does eventually gets his letter of recommendation, but he turns it down. I guess
After
he's like,
all that,
yeah,
He did
I guess
all
he's
that
like,
to say no.
yeah, it's like, I'm not putting my son through this. Because he, honestly, I think the situation with the daughter probably opened his eyes. Like his son was going to go through the same stuff. If his son was getting in trouble in Hong Kong, he definitely was going to get in trouble in San Francisco. You know, and if that girl was getting into altercations the way that she was getting into, his son was going to have issues also. Yep. So he eventually goes home and he talks to his son, and that's when we see that he starts training his son. And that was it for this movie. And then we, of course, at the end, we don't see Ip Man die. We just see his funeral, and we see Bruce Lee walk in and show him respect, and that's how it ends. And that's it for the Ip Man series. As a series, what did you guys think? I'm talking about this with it just liking the movies, not about the factual.
No, I enjoyed the series. The series is great. I really enjoyed these. Good fight scenes. Story was whatever, but I love Donnie Yen. He's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the series also. I like the little flashbacks that they did at the end of the movie, showing us, just reminding us about the previous 3 movies. But yeah, it's crazy when you look at when they did that little flashback and you see how much he aged between all of these movies. you know. But yeah, man, it was pretty good. I know you guys probably don't like this movie, but what about Grace? Would you guys give this movie?
I didn't hate it. It's I say it's like C+.
It was teeter-totter for me. I like the flashback at the end. I gave it a B-.
Okay,
I think I gave the last one a B-. So, and then this one was just a little bit okay for me. So yeah, I'm sticking with that.
I'm sticking with the B. I still I still enjoyed it, so I'm giving it.
I get it.
Mike was wrong, man. I don't even know if Mike even seen 2, 3, or 4. He's probably still stuck on the fact that the first movie had subtitles. So I'm not even sure if he even saw these other ones.
Like I said, and and I get that. That's not for everybody. It's hard.
Right.
I know some people don't like that, but to me, if you want to watch martial arts movies, you're gonna kind of have to do that because some of the best movies are subtitled movies.
Yeah. Now, did you guys? Well, in one of the documentaries I saw, I learned that Donnie Yen was trained by Ip Man's first son for this movie. So I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty cool.
What's the documentary?
It was the one that I saw a few of them. I did watch the one that Jeff sent us, but I also saw some others on YouTube. I just kind of kept on following them last night, and I saw two other ones, I think, but they're on YouTube. That's where I saw those. So, all right. So what's next? What are we doing next?
The Protector.
The Protector. I don't know anything about this. Like, who's in it? What's the plot?
Tony Jaa.
Okay. Is this like a military type movie? This is a bodyguard movie. Like, what's going on? I don't know anything about this movie.
It's been a minute. Let me see the synopsis. Where did I do? So I know it's a little different. I know that for sure. But it's not Tai Chi, Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Oh, okay.
A young fighter must go to Australia to retrieve his. I forgot. It's a stolen elephant statue that he's after.
Okay.
That means something to his family.
Mm-hmm.
To help a Thai-born Australian detective, must take on all.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes.
The martial art's really good. The storyline is a little bit laughable, but for the most part, it's a good martial arts.
All right. So you guys got any closing remarks?
No, man.
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, that's it for this week. That's it for Ip Man 4. That's it for the Ip Man series.
Oh, hold on. Look out! Look out for the next couple weeks. We got Patreon coming, and there's already a few bonus episodes that are going to go up of just main gang in general talking, and it's pretty good stuff. It's we get wild. So
there you go. That's right. I did forget about that. Okay, cool. So everybody, stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you guys next week. Producer, play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.